tabletop role-playing game store news for Friday the 13th. Spooky, 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 spooky. Hello and welcome. Good morning, my nerds. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning here at Site B on this Friday the 13th. It is 60 degrees and windy, but the sun's out, so I don't know. It just means another allergy day. Let's take a look at what's on the shelves of our friendly local game store this week. But as always, don't take my word for it. If you see a product that you're interested in, call ahead to your friendly local game store and make sure they have it in stock or they can order it. During the holidays, people, we really need to keep our tabletop role-playing game stores open and support them in any way, shape, or form we can. Okay, so the very first thing we see this week is this, whatever this is. So this is from Ghostfire Gaming. It's Sebastian Cow's Guide to Drakenheim. Is Sebastian Krause a person? I don't know. It's for $5e. It's $50. It features a new class. It's a new intelligent space scale spellcaster. Yeah, because there's no other intelligent space spellcasters in 5e. It's got 50 new spells, basically dealing with acid and stuff like that. So it looks like we're adding some alchemy, feats to do more stuff with weapons and armor and alchemy, brew potions and scribe scrolls. It's got 12 new classes and subclasses. Wait, what? No, it's got... Sometimes I worry about the person who writes these. It adds an additional subclass to each of the existing classes, is I think what you meant to say, all in the dark fantasy world of Drakenheim. Plus it adds political conflict and other things. So looks like there's a bit of an adventure in here, a bit of a gazetteer in here, some NPCs and adventure books, and then a huge section on alchemy and alchemy related stuff for $50. Is Drakenheim one of the worlds that got jump-started into D&D Beyond? The name does sound vaguely familiar, but, Drakenheim, I mean, that's a word you've probably heard 1,000 times without realizing it. Anyways, so alchemy. A couple of 100 pages of new stuff for alchemy-related stuff, and then world building for Drakenheim that somehow sort of all heads back to the alchemy stuff. I mean, if it's already a world you're supporting and you're already getting all the other stuff for Drakenheim, why not get it? From Mongoose Publishing for Traveler, we've got two. We've got the Starship Operator's Manual and Bounty Hunter. The Starship Operator's Manual is $50 and Bounty Hunter is $50. The Starship Operator's Manual covers starships. All the starships that we know about in the Traveler universe, and plus how to build them, how to fly them, how to find them, how to pilot them, how to sell them, the different types of things you can do in space combat to make it more interesting. Just spacey spaceship stuff. Bounty Hunter is a bounty hunter campaign. Your expandables, your bounty hunters, you take contracts to bring in marks, dead or alive. Maybe you're not doing all the goods, paragons of virtue and honor that the rest of the Traveler universe is doing, but you're doing the job that needs to be done. You're bringing in people for money. And maybe you have a secret heart of gold that gets turned on after you encounter a small child that needs your help. Moving on. I just saw Steve. From Exalted Funeral, we have some Exalted Funeral weirdness. We've got Ballads of Orad. What's that called when the A and the E are smashed together? That's not omulet. That's a different thing. I know it's a thing. Anyways, we've got Ballads of Orad. We've got Arcos. We've got Almanac. Almanac instead of Almanac. It's AWL. Instead of Almanac, AWL. It's OWL. I like that. That's a good play on words. And we've got Month of Misery. So every month of my life. So Ballads of Orad is for old school essentials. Akos is for Troikia, Almanac is for Shadowdark, and Month of Misery is for Morkborg. These all could have been separate, but I guess you decided to smush them together. Ballads of Orad is $45. It contains a fantasy world with monsters and treasures and quests. As you walk along the western coasts, imagine setting sail to visit the Wishworm in the hills of alchemy, or ask for a boon, or perhaps stay on land. Tales of the North, renegade goblins, treacherous warlocks. So it's a world building adventure timey thing, and that is for D20. Akros, the City Sphere of Law, is a high stakes science fantasy setting and adventure where you do legendary nightclubs, random tables, city crawling, pub crawling, point crawling, new backgrounds, new adventures, basically just exploring the world of Arcos, which is, I guess, is a giant sprawling city that you can then jigsaw into an existing D20 game. Almanac includes owls, including owl ancestries and 9 owl classes, including the Alchemist, the Algerith Knight, the... okay, this is awesome. So basically, it's owls as player characters for Shadowdark. Why not? It sounds fun. I love the puns. You could add the pork ancestry if you want. Yes, I'm a pig. All right. This just sounds goofy fun. $22 for goofy fun. For $15, we've got Month of Mystery, which includes 31 days worth of content featuring even more teeth, altars of sacrifices, ways to cope with the misery, and a fishing mini game, all for Mork Borg. This is a response to the Morktober 2023 prompts that were put out to make stuff for Mork Borg all during the month of October. They were all smashed together to present the Month of Misery, and it's $15. And it has a fishing minigame. You can't go wrong with a fishing minigame. From Legendary Games, we have 2 more issues of the Dragon's Hoard. These are $13, $12 zines that cover a whole bunch of stuff for specifically 5e, but just generally D20 fantasy. It says 5e, but any of these things can easily be cobbled to fit any D20 game you're running. Zines are great. We love zines. $13 feels reasonable. And, some things that have appeared in zines have later evolved into iconic things in the hobby. So it's always good to keep track of what's going on in the zines. From Goodman Games, we've got Individual Adventurers, Recarnated, Grimtooth, Old School Traps, and then we've got 5th edition fantasy number 26, Against the Thieves Guild. And these two do feed off of each other. The Thieves Guild adventure includes some of the stuff from the Old School's Traps book, and the Old School's Traps books mention some of the stuff that's in the Thieves Guild. You don't have to buy them together, but they do feed off of each other, which is interesting. So this is a case of planning a expansion around a module and then scheduling so they came out both at the same time. So you could say this and this are, brothers. You can have one without the other, but do you really want to? I don't know if this also has the actual Grimtooth dungeon, because there was a Grimtooth dungeon. So the collection of traps is $50, and then the adventure is $11. So yeah, if you're familiar with the Old School Traps, Grimtooth Traps series, it was a series of books that came out with all sorts of traps. People submitted traps. The traps ranged from, extremely believable. Okay, it's a pit. Okay, I'm going to cover the pit with a false floor. Okay, I'm going to put spikes at the bottom of my pit. Stuff that you would actually think of as, that's reasonable. I can see. To stuff that was like ridiculously Rube Goldberg bizarre, that required, gears and ropes and pulleys and massive amounts of interlocking things to have the trap happen. And you're looking at them and going, nobody would build that. But why? It just feels like a lot of time and effort for something that maybe gets to work once when a pit trap would work fine. But I think half the fun was just looking at the traps, and because some of them got ridiculous. From Black Orc Workshop, we've got Kitty Clack's dice set, Quantum with White Cats. There are no actual cats in this, but there are pictures of cats. So this is a dice set for $15. It's got cats on them. So if you're a cat fan and want to roll a D20 and you had a cat as your highest number, why not? It's cats and it's dice for $15. Sure, you can get lesser dice for, $2, $5, $8, but it's cats. I don't know if these are a series that these guys make. Let's check them out. Do they do other colors and other animals or just cats? Is Kitty Clacks the name of the game or the name of the company? Oh, it's called Kitty Clacks because that's the name that that's the noise that the dice make. You know, clack, 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 clack. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. No, it looks like it's just blue cat. No other animals. Yet. It's dice. We know they're going to sell. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, Goodman Games. You know, I love Goodman Games. I love the stuff they make. Sure, why not? Always support zines. It's got a fishing game in it. Why not? This one's got owl puns. So how can you not play it? Traveler, sure. And a huge book on alchemy for 5e for $50. I don't feel, you know, that's like one of those things like, do I need this? I've already got tons of rules that are available on magic and alchemy and stuff for 5e. And, you know, it feels like there's a new one every day. I can find it free on the net. Do I really need to spend $50 on this? The only reason I would say get this is if you're already getting all the other stuff in the campaign setting of Darkham or Drakenham or whatever it's called, which I know very little about, but the name does sound familiar. And of course, the page doesn't give us any other information on the Drakheim universe. This one says it's from Ghostfire, but this one's, you know, yeah, Ghostfire. I thought it was Catalyst. Okay, whatever. If you're already supporting the Drakheim universe, you're probably going to get it. If you're looking for D20 rules for alchemy and you can't find them on the web, sure, why not? I guess. I mean, I'm not the one to tell you how to spend your money. But again, don't take my word for it. If you see any of these products that sound interesting to you, give your friendly local game store a call and make sure they have them in stock, or if they can special order it for you. Because remember, guys, it's the holidays. And while we're thinking about ourselves and our family, we also have to think about our tabletop role-playing game family and do everything we can to keep the mom and pop brick and mortar tabletop role-playing game stores open. If you live in a city where you're lucky enough to have even one that actively supports role-playing, it's you know, it's sort of morally imperative that we try and keep them open. Even if you buy one dice once a month, that 25, 50, 75, $1.50 helps keep the lights on. I can tell you from the personal experience of living here at Site B for as long as I have, it is very easy to blink and watch your friendly local game stores just drift away. And one day they're gone. And I mean, now obviously, if you've listened to any of my talks about the tabletop role-playing game stores here in Ventura, it's a unique experience that I don't think anybody else in any other city has shown. You know, I mean, I live in a city / area that supports one military base, 10, 15 different schools and high schools and stuff, several libraries, and yet not one store that actively supports role-playing, where you would be like, there's a military base. Those guys game. Why isn't there a game store? Look at all these high schools. High school kids game. Why aren't there a game store? So, but yeah, again, Ventura is unique, and I've gone into it in the past, and maybe I'll go into it again for, like, you know, holidays, the Christmas, whatever. So please, is what my point is as I ramble, keep your stores open if you have one. I'm drinking coffee. And that's it for today. Thanks for taking time to hang out with me and listen to this. Till next time, I'm the OG GM. You all stay safe out there, because it's Friday the 13th, and suddenly I sound like Wolfman Jack. Arr, 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 arr.
News from the table in the rolling waves, dice in our hand, we're the dungeon's brave. Adventures tonight with our mighty team, heroes